You've heard it before, time is your most valuable resource, and it's a non-renewable resource. Once you've spent it, it is gone forever. Now, whether you want to get the most out of your workday or make sure you've got time for friends, family, hobbies, or self-care, it's incredibly important to use your time with intention so that you don't squander it on people, projects, or activities that aren't really that important to you. Now in this video, I'm gonna share with you what I think are the 3 most important elements of effective time management. So you can go from being completely scatterbrained to fully in control of your days so you can really make the most of the time that you've got. Now if you're someone who's highly distractible and scatterbrained, you probably don't wanna try and implement some super complex time management productivity system. Instead, we're going to try and distill everything down into 3 simple concepts. Now, if you can implement just these 3 things, you are going to become a true master of your time. The first is to prioritize. This is the what. This is deciding what the most important task is. Now, this is probably the most important concept for scatterbrains. We tend to have millions of ideas. We get super excited about all of them. So we really need to think about which is the one idea that we're going to focus on at one time. If we don't do that, if our attention is divided between dozens of different projects, we're just never going to get any of them done. Now, this is something you want to do first thing in the morning before you start your workday, or it's something you want to do at the end of your workday so that when you sit down the following morning, everything's laid out for you. So you want to sit down, grab your to-do list, and then you want to identify the top 3 tasks for the day and rank them in the order of importance. Now, don't confuse urgent with important here. Those important tasks, they should be tasks that should be directly tied to a current goal that you have. Now, once you've identified those top 3 tasks from your to-do list, go ahead and write them down on a separate sheet of paper or in some sort of other list. This is really just to separate them from that long list of to-dos that we all have so that you can really just focus on whatever those top 3 tasks are. Remember, this is your most important task, so that is the one thing that you want to get done first. And you want to make sure that that one task is the one thing that if you just do that one thing, you're going to feel good about the rest of your day. If you don't get anything else done, you know that the most important thing that needed to get done got done. Don't do anything else on your to-do list or otherwise until that one thing is done. And yes, that means checking email, it means checking Slack, it means getting distracted by anything else. All that other stuff, that's the urgent and unimportant stuff. We really want to focus on getting that one important thing done first. Now, for bonus points here, you can go down the rest of that to-do list and delete all of the items on it that are not tied to your current goal and that really don't have to get done. And if you can, try and delegate any of those tasks that you don't have to do yourself to someone else. So I once read that you shouldn't do any task that you can pay someone else to do for less than your time is worth. And I think that's very powerful. If you were to do some work for somebody else, what would you charge them? $30 an hour? $50 an hour? $100 an hour? If that's the case, is it really worth your time to be, I don't know, answering your own emails or doing some sort of other low leverage admin task that you could pay someone $20 an hour to do? Now, I know this isn't always feasible right when you're first starting out, but most of us wait far, far too long to get help that we need. But let's say you spend 3 to 5 hours on low leverage admin tasks. If you pay someone $20 an hour to do those tasks, you now have those 3 to 5 hours opened up to dedicate toward tasks that are going to make you more money. So don't become your own assistant. As soon as you can get at least 2, 3, 5 hours of work off your plate a week for $20 an hour, do it. You're going to reclaim a lot of time and you're going to move forward much faster. Next is to schedule. This is the when. You're going to decide when this stuff is going to happen. You're going to determine exactly when you're going to complete your prioritized tasks. And you're going to do this with a calendar. And I recommend Google Calendars because they're completely free. And the first thing you want to do is you want to plan out your ideal week using time blocks. So this here is my calendar. Now, the first thing you want to do when setting up your calendar is to pay yourself first. And I'm talking about paying yourself first with time. So that means scheduling your personal routines and your self-care so that you know that most important stuff is actually going to get done. So for me, I schedule my yoga for first thing in the morning. I get up around 7. I'm downstairs doing yoga at 7:30 for about 45 minutes every day. I've got my break scheduled in mid-morning, and I've got my lunch/walk time scheduled in as well. I've also got all of my family stuff scheduled in here, just so that I know that between my husband and I, we don't have any conflicts. Then the next thing you want to block in is your deep work time. So this is your focused, distraction-free time to work on your most important tasks. So those 1 to 3 tasks that you came up with in the first step. Again, this should be tied to a current goal. Now, for most people, your most productive time of day is going to be in the morning. This is definitely true for me. So I schedule my deep work time from around 9 to 12-ish each and every morning with a quick 10 or 12 minute break in between that time block. Now, I haven't gone into detail on my calendar as to exactly what is going to happen in this deep work. I just know that I have blocked off 3 hours most mornings to get whatever's on that to-do list done in this time. Now, afternoons are what I reserve for what we would call shallow work. So this is all the admin work. This is when I try to schedule most of my meetings. Things like approvals for work that any people on my team are doing. Kind of like all the low leverage stuff that does need to happen, but I don't need to reserve the most mental space for it. Another important thing to do for efficiency's sake and to reduce context switching is to batch similar tasks together. So for example, right now I'm filming a month's worth of YouTube videos. You can see that this red time block, that's for filming. I should be on a break right now, according to my calendar, so shame on me. But once this block is done, I'm gonna be done filming, and that's gonna be all my videos for the month. Again, deep work, that's kind of batched, that's all in the morning. And then the shallow work in the afternoon, all that admin stuff, that's batched up as well. And that really does help create efficiency. I also like to batch all of my meetings. So my meetings here, they're all in yellow, and I try and schedule all my meetings on Mondays or Thursdays. Occasionally I'll get someone who this doesn't work for and I'll adjust my schedule, and that's fine, but in general, I try to batch. Meetings are not deep work, so I try to schedule all those in the afternoon. You can see that there's a couple here this week that had to fall in the morning, and that's okay. It's important to be flexible, but in general, I try to take all my meetings in the afternoon. And then of course, it's really important not to overschedule yourself. So you can see I've got some blank time here where nothing is scheduled in. So I tend to wrap up around 5:30, tomorrow afternoon at 1:45 to 3:45. I don't get all that shallow work done. Well, that's okay. I've got a little bit of a blank space afterwards, so I can just fit in stuff that I wasn't able to get done during the rest of the week, during the normal time blocks, into this blank space. That's just gonna help you get some additional things done that you weren't able to get done during the week and reduce your stress. So now I really try to set aside some time each and every week where I can literally just sit there and think and go over things in my mind, come up with new ideas, and like I said, assess what I've been doing up until that point, think about whether or not it's working and if I need to change strategies. And I think most people just simply do not make time for this, but it is one of the most important things that you can be doing. It's also really important to base these time blocks on your own natural rhythms. Now, like I said, most people are more productive in the morning, but some people have their most productive hours in the evening. The most important thing is to identify when you're the most productive and then do that deep work during that time, and then do all of that shallow work in the times when you're not as productive. Finally, once you've scheduled in these time blocks, it's really essential to protect this time at all costs. When requests come in, you've got a calendar, look at it, see if you've actually got the bandwidth to do it. And if, according to your calendar, you're at capacity, you've got an easy out to say no. And just in general, remember, when a request comes in for your time, if it's not a hell yes, it should be a hell no. Your time is a non-renewable resource, so use it as wisely as you can. So next up is flow, and this is the how. How are you going to create the right environment to get your most important task done when you said you were going to do it? So this really is all about making the space and creating the right environment to get all of that deep work done. And again, morning is best for most people, but you're gonna know when the most productive hours of the day are for you. And this deep work is specifically for getting your most important task of the day finished. And that most important task should ideally be tied to a current goal that you're working on. And you're going to do this before anything else, before checking your email, before checking social media, before opening up Slack, anything that's going to steal away some of that precious brain power. You don't want to waste your most productive time of day on low leverage tasks. So to get into this flow state, you want to set aside a good 90-minute chunk. Ideally, you want 2 90-minute chunks with that nice little 10, 12, 15-minute break in between. And if you want to be productive as you possibly can throughout the entire day, then I highly recommend taking this work break structure and using it throughout your entire day, even when you're working on the shallow work. So again, for me, I always work in a 90-minute chunk, set my timer for 90 minutes, then I have a 10 or 12-minute break, then I set it for another 90 minutes. And in the afternoon sometimes, if my brain power is really starting to dwindle, I take that break every 60 minutes instead of every 90 minutes. And that has really, really helped me to stay focused and productive, and especially getting into that flow state first thing in the morning when I'm working on my deep work. When you're in this flow state, when you are making time for this deep work, you really, really want to control your environment. So that means removing all of your distractions. It means silencing your phone, closing browser windows, closing Slack, wear noise-canceling headphones if you can, and just be really, really dedicated to getting that deep work done. Now, final bonus tip here is to be flexible. We want to keep this schedule intact. We want to create this schedule to create the right environment for optimal productivity and time management. But things are going to happen. Things are going to come off, they're going to throw you off course, and that's okay. Try not to be super rigid about it, because if and when some of these things pop up that completely derail your schedule, it's just going to cause you a lot of stress if you're trying to be really rigid about it. So be flexible. Things happen, things get derailed, that's okay. Just try and get back on track as soon as you can. And again, incorporating some of that blank space into your schedule really helps with this. When things inevitably do fly off the rails, you can use some of that blank space to reclaim some of the time that you've lost. Okay, thanks so much for watching. I hope that these concepts are really going to help you to become a little bit less scatterbrained and be as productive as you possibly can in the time that you've got. If you want to learn a little bit more about the concept of slow productivity, go ahead and check out this video right here. And if you liked this video, please hit that like button, do subscribe, hit the bell so you can be notified every time I put out one of these videos, and share this video with a friend if you think that they might find it useful. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.